Okay, so this is the answer to the Power Strategy 2 question on the previous page. Let's take a look at the chart. So I want you to identify the trend, I want you to identify the direction of the MAs. That's giving you an indication of which direction we're going to be trading in. And then obviously this is a strategy 2 trade, so you're looking at an ABCD formation where we will be trading in the direction of the price trend and also the MA trend. So pause the video, find that ABCD and restart the video once you found it. Did you find it? Well, the ABCD is this one up here. As you can see, the MAs are all trending down and it's not that apparent, it just looks like sideways motion up here, but because of the MA's distance between the 250 and the positioning of them, we can see that price must have been trending down previously as well. So the overall trend before this trade occurred here was down. So we're looking for a nice ABCD here, and we see this is a humongous move. And you know, these moves always are happening in the market. So where would we be entering with a strategy 2 trade? Well, the answer is we're going to be entering at the D point. We're going to be selling here. We want to go short. We already knew we were looking for a short trade, so we were looking for an ABCD up move. What about where you're going to be placing your stop? Well, you want to be placing your stop at a previous pivot high. Now remember, I take pauses in between each of these things, the entry, the stop, the break even, the exit, because I want you to pause the videos and work it out for yourself before I give you the answer. So where would you be placing your stop? Well, you'll be placing your stop above this pivot high here. There is this pivot high here as well, but this is a sufficient amount of room for it to breathe. You could place it up there and you wouldn't be wrong. It just depends on whether you want to be aggressive or conservative, but obviously you don't want to be too overly aggressive. You want to make sure there is some sort of room. And again, it depends on what time frame you're looking at. And you want to judge by the size of the bars around that area. You know, if we start seeing bars like this, then we've got to start pulling our stops a bit out because we've got some big movement. Whereas here we've got relatively smaller bars, especially these ones around here. And these ones here, so that gives a sufficient amount of room for it to breathe. So we're putting our stop at the indicated place. What about our break even? Where are we going to move our stop to the entry price? Well, we're going to do it at a 1-to-1 risk reward. Remember, our break evens are always at the 1-to-1 risk reward, so that will be at the price indicated. That is when we're in profit, the same amount of pips that we risked initially. So the distance between the entry and the stop is the same as the distance between the entry and this dark red line, which is the break-even price. So when price goes down there, we move our stop from up here down to the entry price. What about our exit? Where are we going to exit this trade? Pause the video and work it out. Well, we've got a very nice big move down here. And what we're looking for are pivot highs to form so we can be trailing our stop. So where we would exit is this place right here. Why? Because first of all, there's no pivot highs forming all this way down here. The first pivot high that actually forms is this green high here, because after this red bar finishes, we've got a pivot high there. So we move our stop from entry right down to here. Then we don't get another pivot high forming, but we do get price breaking through that stop price. And that is where we buy back at a profit. We get stopped out and we buy back at a profit. Remember, we sold first, it's a short trade, and then we bought back. What about the risk reward here? Now again, as with the previous example, we're not exactly on the dotted lines. We can't work out for sure exactly how much risk reward is, but approximately how much is the risk reward? Well, we see that the distance between the entry and the stop is approximately one box. So when I say a box, I mean the distance between this line and the next line. And the reward is around about 8 boxes, I would say. Actually just over 8, because 8 would be around about halfway across this box, so more than 8 boxes. So what we can say here is that the risk reward is over 8 to 1. So that's a pretty good risk reward. That means for every dollar you risk, you're making $8. So that's pretty good. So I hope you got all of that right. Let's move on to the next page now, where we're going to go over another example.